Once a doctor pronounces a child deaf, parents often imagine that the child will never be able to lead a full, satisfying life. Francis Kaleli's parents tried to shield him from the rest of the world in the belief that his deafness would hold him back. But Kaleli had a desire to chart his own path. And this is how it came to be that today Kaleli works at a hospital together with his wife, who is also deaf. Wilkiston Yabwa has that story.
There are many sides to Francis Kaleli. On the one hand, he is a father, a role he takes great pride in. On the other, he is a treasured employee, part of the support staff at St. Mary's Hospital in Langata. And this weekend, after 7 years of marriage, he will be visiting his in-laws to make a dowry payment. His life reflects the lives of millions struggling to make the best of the cards life has dealt them. But what sets Kaleli apart is that he is deaf. Kaleli has worked at the hospital for over 10 years, 6 of these at the labor ward. He strolls in and out easily, an accepted figure, but this acceptance has been hard-won. Francis Kaleli Kasani was born 35 years ago. The 8th of 10 children, he lost his hearing in a bizarre incident.
There's a sister of mine, when she was getting warm water to the bathroom. I was young at that time, so I was just running and we collided, and that's when the water poured on my face, and that's how I became deaf.
Kaleli attended a primary school for the deaf and went on to a vocational school. Afterwards, his parents were concerned that he was not ready to take on the rest of the world.
But I was not handicapped in that way. So with time, they get to know that, oh, I can do it, so I can visit. Oh, my son, he can do it. So I told them I can also take care of myself because I also have my life and I can also lead it.
And so he stayed at home for 5 years, doing odd jobs, until a friend who worked at St. Mary's Hospital asked him to send in an application. Kaleli told nobody about his job interview. Only when he arrived at the hospital with a panel of interviewers realized he was deaf. He secured the job and embarked on the new chapter to the amazement of his family.
My parents even had refused that I should not apply for a job here. They thought maybe I could not. So then my brothers went and told my parents, your son got a job in a hospital. And now they told me, that's your life. You can achieve, the sky is your limit.
While all this was happening, Kaleli also met the love of his life.
Wow. Okay. I met my sweetheart in Karen. That's a technical school for the deaf. I met my sweetheart when I was working. It was on a football match we had met. Then we just met. That was the first time we started, talking. And later we started, writing each other. We started writing letters to each other.
Elizabeth Mbithe was also born with her hearing intact, but when a sharp object pierced her ear, she lost most of her hearing. They got married in 2006 and had 2 children, neither of whom is deaf. Elizabeth also applied for a job at the hospital and now works at the postnatal unit. Like other working parents, they sought a helper to mind their children while they were at work. But unlike others, they turned to a deaf house help.
So this is why when we got our second, we preferred a deaf, somebody who is deaf, who can sign and also help us so that we are able to communicate with our own children. The first, at 4 years old, could not sign, but this one, even at 2 years, she can sign very well. So that's the difference. We want to compare that.
Knight Anyango was born to a deaf family that struggled to make ends meet. She idled at home for months before securing this job. She hopes to become a chef.
Now at least I'm catching on with the life. At least I will save some money and also get to pay the school the fees arrears that I have to pay so that I'll get my certificate.
There are 7 deaf people employed at the hospital, each contributing to changing the perception towards deaf people.
We give equal opportunities to everybody because actually we believe that maybe when he is here and he is able maybe to to know whatever happens in the hospital. He can also even assist us in dealing with those patients who are deaf.
But here at home, they are not deaf people. They are simply friends, parents, employees, people trying to make the best of life. And as long as they can make themselves understood, life is not so bad. It often appears as if the deaf are trapped in a cold, dark world where they are unable to communicate with the rest of the world. But sign language enables them to have their voices heard, allowing them to live full, vibrant, satisfying lives. Wilkis Danyabwa, KTN in Nairobi.